What's up? Chill Critic here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into Netflix's Rebel Ridge. This film leads with action and tries a bit to tug at your heart. So grab a seat, and let's get started. At the core of Rebel Ridge, this film is a gritty action movie that revolves around a man named John. John finds himself caught in a web of corruption, systemic injustice, and retribution. The movie's story unfolds in a very raw and intense way, showcasing the struggles of the working class and the deep-seated inequality within American society. The film starts off fast, with a lot of tension from the get-go. The opening scene grabs your attention, setting the stage for a world of inequality, as John is stopped by police and robbed of all his money. As John gets to the courthouse, we learn this isn't the first case of something like this happening. He dives deeper into his quest for vengeance and redemption, as we're thrust into a world of police corruption, violence, and personal trauma. Turns out the money he was holding was to put up his brother's bail to get him out of jail, because earlier in his life he ratted to save himself from jail time. But he couldn't get his money back in time, and his brother was killed in prison. John has a layer of mystery surrounding him, as he talks big, but doesn't sound like he can back it up. Eventually, the police force finds information about him, and he was the teacher of a special forces class training soldiers to use their environment as a weapon. One thing I really appreciated about the movie is it doesn't just use action for the sake of spectacle. It integrates these elements into a larger narrative. The supporting cast also brings a lot to the table. The performance from actress Anna Sophia Robb, who portrays Summer, gives the movie extra layers, helping to flesh out the world they're living in. Her character has her own backstory, which keeps things interesting, especially when the tension reaches its peak. The police force uses Summer's past against her, as they inject drugs into her system and get her fired from her job, which upsets John because they almost killed her in the process. This is when he has had enough, as he uses his knowledge to put up a fight against the police force that ends in an all-out shootout. Now I will say that at times, the characters feel a little one-dimensional, particularly the antagonists. While they serve their purpose within the story, I would have liked to see a bit more depth behind them and their motivations. Still, they're not your typical villains, and that's something the film does well. Rebel Ridge is not your typical fast-paced action film with mindless explosions. The violence is brutal, but it serves a purpose. It's raw, and you can feel the impact in the storytelling. I also have to shout out the film's pacing. It knows when to slow down and let the characters breathe, only to pick up again with an intense, edge-of-your-seat moment. Whether it's the quiet tension in the lead-up to a confrontation or the explosive moments of action, the music is carefully crafted to draw you deeper into the experience. My overall thoughts about Rebel Ridge is it's not a perfect movie by any means, but it does a great job blending social commentary, action, and character development. The plot, while engaging, could have used a bit more subtlety in some of its themes, but the movie is still very enjoyable if you can turn off your brain. The performances are solid, the action is enjoyable, and the direction is easy to follow. If you're into films that combine social issues with high-stakes action, Rebel Ridge might be right up your alley. It's a movie that doesn't hold back, and if you're a fan of films with real-world relevance wrapped in action, it's definitely worth a watch. If you love TV series like Reacher, I recommend you watch this. I rate Rebel Ridge a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, it's free, and see you next time.